What's going on, everybody? My name is Jonathan Music. You guys know that. I'm here with Mr. Micheal Lewis over here. Hey. And he is the owner of Elevated Nutrition. Elevated or
Elevate?
Elevate. I'm sorry.
Level up. Let's go.
Level up. So he's the owner here, and man, you want to tell your story, how you got started, and what's going on with you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like he said, my name is Micheal Lewis, owner here at Elevate Nutrition. So a little bit about my backstory. Collegiate track athlete, also played football. So never really worried about my health as far as like nutrition wise, because I always told myself like, oh, I'm going to burn that off. Like, oh, I got a 3-hour practice, 4-hour practice, whatever that may have looked like. So I never necessarily worried about nutrition. It wasn't until after my collegiate career came to a close and I started coaching high school track and realized that I was out at practice one day trying to do a couple warm-up laps with them, and I was just like, why is this so hard? This is something that used to be easy for me,
Got the extra fluff, huh?
Exactly. And so got the little extra fluff going on, but and it was interesting because my athletes, they were like, oh, you're such a nice coach. You stay in the back with the stragglers and da-da-da. And in my head, I'm like, y'all don't even know. I'm sitting there struggling.
I'm working at it, trust me.
I'm trying not to breathe hard in front of them and stuff like that. And so they don't see that it was tough for me or whatever. And so I was like, man, what the heck? Like, this is crazy, So I go through the workout, do the workout with them or whatever. And so it wasn't until I stepped on the scale. So when I was in college, I fluctuated between 205 and 210 for track and stuff like that. But when I stepped on the scale after this, it was a couple of days after this practice because I was really curious.
Yeah.
My weight, I was at 245.
Was that kind of like shocking?
Heaviest I've been ever in my life.
Ever.
And so it was crazy because even when I played football, when I came to the school I went to, they tried to get me to switch from playing like a more skilled position to kind of getting down in the trenches and playing tight end and being down there with the linemen and stuff like that. And so they were trying to get me to put on a lot of weight, and it just wasn't working. I was putting on muscle like crazy, but weight stayed the same. Heaviest I even got during that time was like 212. And my coaches were like, what the heck? I'm like pigging down, chowing down, eating everything. Everything they put in front of me, I'm eating it. So yeah, 245. I did room with some offensive linemen, and we kind of ate out quite a bit, and so that played a part in it, and just wasn't working out obviously as consistent. Like I was just focusing on coaching and stuff like that. But ended up walking into a nutrition club back in spring of what would have been 2018. Mm-hmm. Because of a young lady that I was interested in who told me that I should try this entity out because I was going to Smoothie King all the time.
You were interested in what do you mean?
I was interested, so I was interested in her. I thought she was attractive and this and that, and so but no. And she was like, "Hey, we should go to lunch here. It's better than Smoothie King and it's more healthy. And I know you say you're trying to get back down to your like competition weight, lose some weight or whatever."
Right.
And so me just being skeptical, or I'm like, whatever. Like, man, no shake's gonna fill me up, whatever. Long story short, we go. I ended up signing up being one of her first clients because she ended up starting doing the business herself. Mm-hmm. So I ended up being one of her first clients and getting on a program. And what was crazy is, they told me, drink 2 shakes a day, drink your teas, eat whatever you want. I love food. Eat whatever I want.
I do too.
Look, done deal. Drinking my 2 shakes, drinking my 2 teas, still chowing down. And when I say chowing down, I mean, like I said, I was always on the road and stuff like that, traveling for track meets, so I'm still eating Chick-fil-A, large pepperoni pizzas from Little Caesars, right. Taco Bell, whatever, because 2 shakes, 2 teas, eat whatever you want. Clear. I hear you,
Yeah.
And what was crazy is still, even with doing that, still, eating sweets like crazy, love my sweets, drinking soda, eating crazy like that, still dropped 14 pounds in my first month.
That's crazy.
14 pounds.
That's amazing.
And was
that's above what average,
Right. And it's what's possible. Not obviously everyone's body's different.
It's not typical, but it's what's possible.
Exactly. And so I was like, wow, okay, well, what would happen if I took this a little serious?
I was just about to ask you what do you think, like, you took it serious right off the bat, like where would have you been,
It's hard to say.
Right.
It's hard to say. I probably would have been a lot more. I probably would have gotten back down to that competition weight a lot sooner, and probably actually would have continued to actually compete post-collegiately, honestly.
Right.
Just because I've always had a strong passion for track and field, and even my athletes see that on a day-to-day basis when I'm coaching them, and just like how much I really pour into them to make sure that they're getting the best out of me, because when I was in high school, I didn't have a high school coach to really push me and challenge me and stuff like that, so I really pride myself on that. But 14 pounds first month. And then I was like, man, what the heck? I was like not even taking this serious, And the only reason I weighed myself is because, my coach at the time, she was like, you're looking a little thinner. Maybe we should step on the scale, because I hadn't stepped on the scale. I just been consuming the products.
Right.
Stepped on the scale, and I was like, whoa, okay,
cool.
So then, like I said, took it a little bit more serious. Cut out all soda. Cut back on the sweets. Love my sweets, like I said. I'm not gonna necessarily. We ain't just gonna cut those out now.
I understand, man. I love
need my honey buns.
I need my cupcakes.
Exactly. And so I cut back on that. I cut back my portion sizes when I was eating out. So instead of I always, even with my clients, I sign up now to this day. I always use a pizza as a reference because it's easy. 8 slices in a large pizza. So I'm like, instead of eating that full large pizza, now I'll go eat half of that. Or, if I go to Taco Bell and I'm ordering, 4 or 5 beefy 5-layer burritos, that's my favorite. Them beefy 5-layer burritos.
I like those steak quesadillas.
Oh, those are good too. Let me stop.
Anyway, we gotta stop. We're trying to be healthy.
Exactly. So, I would cut back. So if I'm usually getting 4, I'm getting 2 and stuff like that. So, cut back portion sizes on certain things. Cut out the soda pop. Lost another 12 pounds. So I was like,
Congratulations, that's awesome.
So now I'm down a total of 26 pounds.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, well, what more can I do? And so...
Is that athlete mindset? Because I hear like other athletes talk and they're like, well, I came this far. Like, how far can I push that? Like, is that kind of like built into you? Or have you just always been like, what can I do more? What can I do more?
I think it's a little bit of both. So for me, for obviously, I don't know if I've even shared this with you or not, but raised in a single parent home, oldest of 4, so I had to embody, people talking about wearing these different hats, the boyfriend hat, the husband hat, the teacher hat, whatever it is. So for me, I had to embody a lot of roles as a young kid. Being the oldest of 4, mom's working 40 plus hours a week at different jobs and stuff like that. So, I had to be the dad. I had to be the bigger brother. I had to be the best friend. I had to be, all these things. I had to really take in and embody all these different roles. And so, as I grew up, it's always like, what more can I do to make sure that my siblings are taken care of and to make sure that they're going to be set and taken care of? And so I think that's part of it. And then also always being forced into leadership roles, no matter what it was, whether it's in class projects. Every sports team I've been on, I've been in some type of leadership role, whether it's actually named a team captain or a team leader, whatever it was. And so that same mindset kind of clicked in for me, where it was like, okay, what more can I do to make sure that I'm giving it my all for my team and to set us up for success? So in high school, I played quarterback. Right. So all the weight on my shoulders at all the times, and so it's like, okay, what more can I do in this moment, in this time, during this play, during this progression, to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success? And so,
and I have to give you props, man, because you told me you're from Stockton, California.
Yep.
Which, just from the store. We live out here in the Midwest.
Right.
And I've never been to Stockton, California. All I've been is Long Beach, and I was told don't go to these places at all because of gang affiliated stuff. And I've heard stories about Stockton, and you being in that situation and you not going towards the gang affiliated and getting involved in that. I have to give you props, because a lot of people, to them that is a family. I was talking to a person, a priest, or I should say a father or whatever, and he got this kid off of from like gang stuff. He invited him in church and stuff like that. And then one day, and he kept on coming to the church. Always showed up. And then one day he just stopped. He stopped. And then the priest like saw him, was like, "Hey man, I haven't seen you at church." And the dude's like, "Man, I was looking for a second family, and I thought you guys were it, but I never felt like I was part of the family. I thought I was just showing up for church." So it's really cool that you stepped up and you had your own family, and you said, "No, I'm gonna make sure that they're okay." So I have to give you props about that, bro.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, being from Stockton, California, it's not. I tell people that, and they're like, "Oh, you're from the ghetto, or you're from the hood, or stuff like that," and I, that's always going to be home. Always going to be home, no matter what, whether, it's me living here in Kansas City for the rest of my life, or if I move to Alaska or wherever, it doesn't matter. Stockton, California will always be home. That's one thing I'll never sit there and act like that's not where I'm from. They always say, don't ever forget where you're from.
Right.
And that's what made me, is that environment. Did I mature and change in certain ways when I moved and went off to college and stuff like that? Absolutely. Anyone is. But like I said, Stockton, California is always going to be home. And even to this day, I'm always trying to figure out how can I go back and give to the community and pour into the community and be a leader within my own community from home in Stockton, California. Because not a lot of people do that. There's been several people who've made it out of Stockton who are famous, professional athletes, singers, whatever it is, actors, but don't necessarily come back to the city and give back.
Right.
And it's just like a lot of us get, we get certain platforms and things like that, and we don't take advantage of it. And so it's just like, at some point, I will have a well-written, thought-out plan of like, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do when I go back home. This is how I'm going to make an impact. This is who I want involved and things like that. But again, like, I appreciate that. And there's definitely been times throughout my life where I definitely could have went left instead of going right.
Right.
Multiple times.
Right.
Literally raised up in one of the worst neighborhoods in Stockton, California, out on Kelly Drive. And it's interesting. I have family members that were literally shot and killed by police officers right around the corner from my house.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just crazy. And just like seeing all the gang members and this and that. Like, one of my favorite colors is red. My shop is red.
Right.
And so the mic is red. I mean, it's just a coincidence. Inside of my car is red. You know what I mean? And
don't be saying "soo whoop" on here now.
I'm you know what I'm saying. But anyways, it's an interesting dynamic because when I go home, a lot of times I won't wear certain colors. I won't wear red. I won't wear blue. I try to wear the most neutral colors just because I don't want to upset anyone. I don't know how that person woke up that morning. They could have woke up on the wrong side of the bed. They could be upset because some deal didn't go right, and all they see is me in blue or me in red. And, why you set tripping, homie? And people like sit there and they're like, oh, like it's that bad? Like, yes, it gets that bad. You know what I mean? And it's always funny to me when people when I hear people, oh, don't go to KCK or don't go to KCMO, and I'm like, trust me, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine. Like I've probably been in worse.
Right.
I've high school senior ditch day, whatever you want to call it, going to Buffalo Wild Wings, literally had a gun pointed at me. And so it's like I've been through all that, and not that I did anything wrong, literally just wrong place, wrong time. And it's crazy to like be in that moment and to experience that and to go through that, because it's like you hear people talk about it and you're like, whatever. But then to actually go through it yourself, it's like, man, like what the hell was that? And even the individuals I was with, we're all just shocked. I was actually in a car full of girls from our cheerleading team and our valedictorian at the time, and they're all, leaning, trying to duck, and I'm literally just staring at the guy.
Right.
Because I'm like in shock, and I'm just like, well, if I duck, it doesn't matter if he just lets off his, his clip or whatever.
Right.
Someone's gonna get hit one way or another. I'd rather stay upright because, if I'm ducking and he's shooting and hit my head or something, me just thinking worst possible.
Yeah.
But, and it's crazy because, like, I can tell you exactly who was in the car with me that day. I can tell you exactly who was sitting where.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you exactly what type of car we were driving, where, like everything, because it's so clear in my head because everything literally flashed before me. It's like, oh, this is where my life ends. You know what I mean?
Could that have been like something that like affected you where like, okay, this is really not where I want to be, and I want to become the best athlete ever, or become an owner or something like that? Could that maybe like been or have you already had that mindset during that kind of time?
Well, I feel like most kids, as we grow up, we always have this dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna be a teacher. I'm gonna be a firefighter.
I'm gonna be an actor.
Actor,
yeah.
cop. I'm playing the NFL, NBA,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. And so for me, growing up, I was a pretty talented kid who didn't necessarily take advantage of a lot of opportunities that were presented to themselves just because of how I was raised and just not to that maturity level to realize what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But when I grew up, as I was growing up, I thought I was going to be in the NFL. Let's be honest. I compared myself, to back in the day who were some of the top quarterbacks, Terrell Pryor, Cam Newton. So I compared myself to those kind of guys. And because, and especially for me being a young black male and them performing at such a high level in college and they're young black males. So it's easier for me to like, connect on and latch on to that as a role model. Like, oh, I want to be like them.
Right.
I want to be able to run the ball like them. I want to be able to throw the ball like them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to go through the progressions and read like them.
Right.
So I always tell myself, like, oh, I'm going to be in the NFL. No further questions, And so in that moment, I don't think it necessarily changed anything,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of just, I still don't even know. If I'm being honest with you, I still don't. I just remember just literally just staring at the guy, like guns pointed at me.
I don't know what I would have. I've never been put in that situation. I don't know what I would exactly do. I think everybody's kind of like played it in their mind because now it's such a like, it's a common thing to hear like someone bringing a gun to like a facility and
Right.
using it.
Right.
And I don't know what exactly I would do. I know I've played it in my mind, and I'd be the superhero kind of like, or I would like, you never know. And
you just don't.
And it's crazy. But look at you now, man. You're out here in the Midwest. You're doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own business, Nutrition Club,
Mm-hmm.
and it's awesome to hear from like where you started and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and where you are right now,
Yeah.
and personally like how developed you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are some things that like helped you to become the person you are, like develop you?
As strange as this is going to say, and I've changed my mindset towards it, but this is just how I'm going to explain it. But my failures,
Your failures, okay?
or and I've changed my mindset towards this, especially going into the new year, and just being clear on what my goals are and what I want and what I have planned, not just for myself, but for the community here that my shop is in, for the community back home, for the community of like just the track community, and with coaching my athletes and helping even athletes from other schools that are very talented get to the next level and compete in the collegiate level if that's something that they desire.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned so much and taken away so much from not succeeding. And
They say like success, the only way you have success is you fail.
exactly. And so for me, so like now I tell myself, thinking of it in a more positive way, it's like, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't fail. That was just a learning opportunity. So and it does something with the mind. I can't explain it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
But it triggers you to be like, okay, I didn't just fail. I just learned from that. Like now I know what to do better. You know what I mean? Whether it's, it doesn't matter. Business, relationships, sports, it doesn't matter. I had a friend who recently, was in a relationship that ended kind of sour. And I just told him that same concept. You know what I mean? I'm like, I get it hurts. I know it sucks. But what were you supposed to learn from that? That person came into your life for a reason. Not to get super religious or anything, but like God put them in your life for a reason, for you to learn something from them. Right. And now it's time for you to take what you're supposed to learn from them, grow from it, and go be better. Not just for the next person that you're dating, but for yourself as an individual.
Right.
Because, a lot of times we devalue ourselves, which then allows people within the community to devalue us. But people don't realize that. Let's say, relationship doesn't work out. We're questioning, guys, why she leave me? Why she cheat on me? Why she say it's not me, it's her? Da, da, da. And you start playing all these mind games with yourself. Same thing with women, and as, sad as it is to say, then they start questioning like their figure. Certain body parts, is it not what they want? Is this not what they want? It's never anything about that. It's more so just, we were supposed to learn something from that relationship, that bond, and it wasn't a failed relationship. It was a learning opportunity.
You elevated yourself from...
There you go. You got to learn to level up and elevate. And that's the thing is you got to be able to grow. You got to be able to take those those failures and turning them into learning opportunities. And I think that didn't necessarily happen for me until I transferred from my junior college to a Division I level school for track. And so
I don't want to like make you lose track on, but for me personally, like failure, and I keep on hearing it, and this is my mindset. Failure, the only way you fail is you quit and you give up. To me, like when those failures come, I consider those as mistakes, because you can learn from mistakes. The only way that you fail is you quit. So that's just my mindset of like of thinking those things, because I don't really like to say, yeah, I failed. No, I made a mistake. Let's learn, let's move, let's elevate, and let's learn from it.
I don't even say mistake anymore.
You don't even say mistake anymore?
I don't even say mistake. I said, hey, I had a learning opportunity.
Boom. I love it.
Because mistake, you hear mistake. You're still thinking negative, at least for me personally.
Right.
I'm still thinking negative. Oh, I had a mistake. Oh, I made a mistake. Did you? Or did you just learn from it and now you're going to go grow and be even better?
That's even a better mindset.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
And so, but like that didn't happen for me though until I had a coach. Like I said, once I transferred to UC Riverside in Southern California.
Right.
My coach, Coach Brown, we're at a team meeting. I'm in the back, drinking some water, literally, and I almost spit it up because he said something along the lines of like, you guys are just crybabies. You guys are some grown crybabies. You're sitting here complaining because you can't practice, you can't run because because your hamstring's hurting, or because your hip, or whatever the scenario is. But compared to what? And as soon as he said that, mind blown. Because it's like we'll sit here and we'll complain. We'll find every reason of why something didn't work. And I used to do that. I'm not trying to say I don't. And I still do sometimes. Like it's tough. But I start to retract, and okay, like, all right, like I can't compete today compared to what, those individuals who, are double amputees or whatever, they don't have a leg or they don't have an arm. Like I'm blessed and super thankful and humbled to have every single limb of my body and to be able to go out and do certain things that others aren't, just because, they weren't gifted that opportunity. I'm not going to say that they were punished, because they definitely weren't. Like, they don't have control of that. You know what I mean? If someone's in an accident and they have to lose a limb or something like that, they can't have control of that, and so once I heard that, and that was back in fall 2013. And I still use that motto to this day, even with my athletes that I coach. Even when friends come to me for advice, I'm like, shut up, you know, like
Right.
you're complaining about this, but compared to what? Do you have a roof over your head? Did you wake up this morning?
Right.
There's so many people that didn't wake up this morning. Let's leave it at that. I won't even say anything else about that. You know what I mean?
I was listening to a video this morning, and they were pretty much saying the same thing. Is like, we need to be so grateful for today, because there's no say that when today will be here for us. And I mean, this video just kept on going about like, time is the most valuable thing out of everything in the world. Throw away money, throw away gold, throw away whatever you want to throw away. Time is the most valuable thing, because your clock, you never know when it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's a really like eye opener. And I think a lot of like young kids, when they hear this, like, oh, I'm cool, you know, like, you know, they don't think about that.
Right.
But being more adult, we start noticing things like, man, I still remember what I did for like 2016 New Year's, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and time flies by.
Absolutely.
So it's crazy, and like when you notice those things, time is the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get time back.
You can't.
Most other things you can get back. You can get gold back. Go buy it.
Yeah.
You can, you know.
Money is always going to be there.
Oh, I got in an accident, lost my car. Go buy a new one.
Yeah. There's ways around that.
Oh, you know, whatever. I dropped my food. Go buy some more.
Go buy some more.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's interesting that you know, you kind of heard that podcast or video, because it's so true. It's so true. And you know, you can't get time back. I mean, you learn so much because of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of my memories, you know, were...
That was the best pop ever. I'm sorry to interrupt. That was my knee.
Weirdo.
I'm sorry.
Someone's old or whatever. I don't know.
Hey, I'm turning 29 this September.
Sheesh, like I said, old.
Hey, don't
I'll
be...
27 next month, y'all.
You're right behind me, bro.
February 25th, y'all want to reach out. Happy birthday, you know.
He
Coach Lou 93 on Instagram, anything, whatever.
He accepts cash, credit card, checks.
Yeah, I got Cash App,
You know,
Venmo,
yeah.
like, anyways, whatever.
I'll make sure to put it in that.
Appreciate it.
Oh, and I totally forgot too. Do you have an Instagram that people can follow you and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, Coach_Lou93. A lot about just, you know, my workouts and stuff that I do. I post tons and tons and tons of videos and pictures of my athletes, because I'm so passionate about what I do with them, and just their progress that they have over the season when I'm training them. It's truly incredible. You know, it's always funny because people are like, why are you coaching high school track? You don't get paid a lot. You have a college degree. You this, you that. And I'm like, clearly I'm not doing it for the money.
You love it.
I truly, genuinely love it. You know, when my athletes go out there and get a personal best, or they win a meet they're not supposed to win, or you know, they beat someone that they usually haven't beat, you know, and I see them jumping up and down, high-fiving teammates, running over, jumping and giving me hugs. And
out of this, like the sports you do help like coach and stuff like that, because you help coach football and you've helped coach track and stuff. Which one is like your overall, and if it is track, what would be your overall like choice in track?
Yeah, so it's definitely track.
Track.
I've helped, you know, strength and condition train other sports, baseball, volleyball, softball, stuff like that in the past. But track, it's just a different beast. It's a different beast, and you learn to really respect all the different event groups. In high school, I was an athlete, so I was all over the place. I long jump, triple jump, high jump, 100 meter, 200 meter, 4x1, 4x4, whatever the coach was, Mike, you're doing,
right?
Okay. You know?
Right.
But once I got to junior college, I had much, much more appreciation of it, because they turned me into a decathlete. And for those of you that don't know, that's 10 events over the course of 2 days, where you're getting tested over all sorts of stuff. I mean, you're sprinting, you're throwing, you're jumping, you're pole vaulting, you're running a distance run at the end when you're running a 1,500 meter. Yeah, I mean, so many things that you have to train for. And have that grit to get after, because you know it's I can't even explain it. I loved every ounce, every second of it, you know, and it's memories that I made even with that training group that will last a lifetime. But, you know, when it comes to specifics, let me speak English. I love coaching the jumps. That's my specialty. I was a long and triple jumper in high school. Focused on it in junior college a little bit when I had some injuries. Focused on it at Mid-American Nazarene University when I got there and had some injuries. Was privileged enough and gifted enough to receive All-American honors in the triple jump.
Right.
So it's definitely the jumps. But like I said, I have a huge appreciation for all the events. But jumps is where my heart is.
I got you.
So that's what I'm married to right now. You know, until another sport, another event somehow wins me over, but I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happen.
So,
well, man, it's been a great sitting down with you and talking to you, man. Your story's amazing, and I can't wait for both of us to be on a stage together, do a training.
Yeah.
I'm working on getting my own nutrition club,
Nice.
and I'm excited for you and how much all this and where you came from. And stuff.
And it's crazy because I've been doing the business about a year and a half now, almost 2 years. I lost track. It's been such a blur, to be honest with you.
Right. Time's valuable.
Exactly. Got in the business as a coach after getting some solid results after those 2 months. The sponsor that I had originally signed up under, or a coach, however you want to look at it, she quit the business 7 months into it. And there was kind of a downfall out of the nutrition club that we were working out of, and things happened and got a little ugly, if you will. And so then it turned, it went from a packed club with 6, 7, 8, health coaches in there to just 2.
Right.
From 2 to kind of just 1 to a certain aspect. And then, that kind of fell through, and which ultimately led me here to open up my own shop here in Paola, Kansas, just because I had a vision. I went to a training and they casted a vision for me, and I knew what I wanted, and I've always been a people's person and wanting to give back to the community and helping people. And so it was okay, I'm not gonna let or allow that learning opportunity to distract me or cause me to not pursue any dreams or goals or aspirations that I have within this business, to be able to A, help individuals with their health and wellness goals, and B, just provide an opportunity for others to be able to do the same.
I got you.
So
if there's someone that is watching, either they're in a hard spot from where they live, they're either playing some kind of sport, maybe they're running their own business, what are some few words that you can give to them that could inspire them to, because they maybe be going through a hard time or something, maybe they're the big brother father figure in their family. Is there anything that you can suggest or give them before we leave and everything?
Just don't give up, don't quit. I've been saying this even on some of my live videos that I've been doing on my social media accounts, where it's it's 2020, and everyone makes the joke oh, I can see now and this and that, and my vision's good. Well, no, let's be serious. It's 2020, year of clear vision, whatever you want to call it. Whatever that vision, goal, aspiration, whatever it is, realize that setbacks are going to happen no matter what. We can't control that. We just can't. And, a lot of what we do is just how we respond to that. So use those setbacks as growth. Know that it's going to happen one way or another. And not to be negative or a Debbie Downer, but, it's something that's occurred for me where it's every time something's going too good, expect something bad to happen.
And that's something too. I don't mean to interrupt you, but just being real. Just being real. You can be positive, you can be all, but
Absolutely.
of course you don't want to look at the negatives, but also be prepared.
Yeah. Like me and one of my best friends, like, and I think it's helped me a lot with certain things. We always go into every situation expecting the worst. And people may say like, oh, that's stupid, that's dumb, that's whatever. It's like, no, it's not. It's brilliant, truthfully.
Right.
Because if you go in expecting the worst and you get something totally different, you're like, oh, you're chippity, you're uppity up, you're ready to go. You know what I mean? And so it's like, just stay the course, stay motivated, have tunnel vision. Don't allow any outside distractions or anyone try and derail you of what you want to do. Like, I went to that Division I school and lost my scholarship and moved back home. Let's be real. Because I was being an idiot. I was not going to class like I was supposed to. I was chasing after girls, had some family stuff go on, whatever the reasonings is, I can go on and on. Long story short, school's never been hard for me, but I essentially dropped out of school, dropped out of college, lost my Division I scholarship, and lost all rights to ever compete at a Division I institution ever again. And like we said earlier, from Stockton, California, that's rare to even get that opportunity alone, and to get it and then lose it. I was crushed. Could have easily given up, could have easily turned to drugs, gang violence, whatever. But stay the course and know that whether you realize it or not, you're always being a role model for somebody. I don't know how many people reach out to me, not necessarily daily, but I even have older cousins, older family members that, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. It's helped me build up the courage to do X, Y, and Z, or whatever it is. So just always realize that you have role models out there, or people that you're being a role model for, and that you're inspiring, and just continue to just stay the course. Don't give up, don't quit, and just really trust yourself, and and just trust in your faith, because there's a lot of praying and stuff that went into everything that I've done, and realizing that my faith is what has helped carry me to this point and continues to carry me. So
I got you. Heck yeah, man. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, brother. I'm super excited for you again, like I said, and we got to do this one more time. We gotta do this one more time.
For sure, awesome. For sure, man.
Maybe we can talk about some other stuff. I don't know, maybe football and how the Chiefs are gonna win and stuff or something.
Sure.
But I will make sure to put Mr. Mike Lew over here down in the description so you can find all of his information if you want to reach out to him or anything to that sort. My information also will be down below. But thank you guys, and this is the J-Hub.